I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war.
And now we're ready. All right.
We're here.
We're here. You try to wear glasses. I'm the only one who wears glasses on this fucking podcast.
My bad.
Oh, that's too funny. Well, I thought of the title for this podcast because I thought it was fitting for what we're going through right now, which is growth in the business, right?
Yep.
Right. So I do think this is good to hit on this topic. And I'm also happy because we have Daniel here today.
Thank you.
Huge shout out to Daniel.
I appreciate that.
And I've been looking forward to having him come on the podcast because I love your story, man. I love what you're about. I love where you come from. I love the humble beginnings. And I just love everything that you're doing, man.
Thank you.
You're young. You're hungry. Extremely talented. And just looking forward to watching you grow, man.
Yeah. We got a still on Daniel, huh? We got a still on. Did he sign a contract with us? We got to get you in a fucking contract.
For real, bro.
All right, I'll give a proper introduction. So Daniel is our videographer here, our social media guy, our marketing guy. He helps us with all of our posts, all of our content creation. Daniel's been doing an amazing job. I feel like Daniel, when he first started, didn't really know the role yet because we were still developing the brand. But you've been doing a really great job so far, bro.
I appreciate that.
You're wearing like 20 hats.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
He does web design. He does everything.
Yeah, it is it all.
We'll have a crazy idea for a website. We'll put it up in like 3 hours.
Oh, definitely, yeah. The pressure's real.
Yeah, I bet it is. Yeah, but dude, no, we're happy that you're here, and obviously happy that you're here with the company helping us grow the brand. But I do want to give you an introduction. So Daniel, funny story, the way we met Daniel was one of our agents on our team named Kelly, right?
Yeah, Kelly.
Badass agent. He's been on the podcast. He was trying to build his YouTube channel.
Yep.
Right? And I was going through that phase where I was showing people how to get started on YouTube and marketing and promoting your brand on YouTube, right, through video. And Daniel was the guy he brought in, right? And I was, oh, that's cool. You got somebody. I was doing all my own shooting, right? But Kelly got creative and said, hey, I want to be in front of the camera when I do my property tours. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't do that because I don't have a camera guy. He brought in Daniel, and Daniel's like, oh, I'll shoot him. You know, he did the videos, and I saw the videos, and I was like, I want to meet Daniel and help him refine his work, right?
Yeah.
But we brought him in, and I saw how coachable Daniel was, and I'm like, fuck, this guy is somebody we should get in the team.
Yeah.
You know? And long story short, you're here now.
Yeah.
So it's pretty badass. But, dude, tell us where you come from, because I think it was like a few weeks in to our relationship where we're like, where the hell is Daniel from? He looks Mexican, but I don't think he's Mexican.
Vaguely ethnic, you know?
Yeah. No, where we're like, where the hell is he from? What's his story? And we got a little taste of his story when he told us, and I thought it was so badass, bro, and so inspiring, right? And you're still dealing with a lot of that stuff right now, which is pretty cool. Well, it's not cool. It's kind of a challenge, but it's good to see that you're not giving up and you're still continuing to grow and you still come to work with a smile on your face, right? But talk to us about, first of all, where you're from, who you are, how you got into the business, and give us a background.
Cool. I'm turning 22 in April, and I was born here in Midvale, right? My mom is a Indonesian immigrant, and my father was born in Iowa. So it's like American and then Indonesian somehow, like they met together, right?
Yeah.
And they had me. And then somewhere along the line, you know, some stuff happened, and then I decided that I wanted to not follow like the ordinary path when it came down to like work, you know, because I'm watching my friends do 9 to 5s, and it looks terrible, like how they're living.
Oh, that'd be a nightmare, dude.
Oh, absolutely, you know.
I couldn't even imagine.
And I was like, and I did it. I worked like Fernando. I worked a whole bunch of different jobs in different industries, and I decided I was like, yeah, none of this is for me. Like absolutely none of this, you know. Like work until I'm 60 years old, and then I can retire. And by the time I'm 60, I can't do anything, so there's no point, you know. And it was weird because I had a lot of people like telling me I can't do it. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm too young. A lot of people say I don't have enough life experience and to just try and work at Panda Express for 10 years and then decide, you know. And I was like, no, that's not the route I'm going to take. So.
Is that like the way the Panda Express is serious? People wanted you to work there for that long?
Yeah.
Is that like an Asian thing or what?
A little bit.
Rite of passage?
Why Panda?
I don't know. Like all the Indonesian people I know work at Panda or used to work at Panda. So I feel like that's the starting ground.
I'm not going to lie, though. I love chow mein and I love orange chicken.
I hated making both.
You can't even have orange chicken, bro. What are you talking
Well, I
about?
can't anymore, but back in the day when I could, I loved it.
Yeah.
Now I
Oh,
can't.
shit. But before you got into obviously working and stuff like that, like, I mean, and we'll go into this a little bit later, but if you could share with us a little bit about your story, because you were born in Midvale, right? But I understand your father passed away when you were a little younger, actually a lot younger, like 12 years old, right?
Yeah.
And your mom and you decided, hey, you know, do the high school thing for a while and eventually move back to Indonesia. And you'd never been there.
So I have been there, but it would only be like for a month or 2 months at a time, and it would be every other year. So I only knew what it was like from a vacation aspect, not an actual living aspect, you know.
Yeah.
And so coming there with American money, you're able to do whatever the hell you want. You're basically like a king, you know. And so when we the whole reason we moved there was because my dad was 60 years old when I was born, you know, and my mom was just in her 40s.
Wow.
And so me being born was completely like out of the blue. They had no idea. They got married and they were like, okay, that's it. We're not going to have kids. We're just going to live our lives.
You were the best accident that ever happened.
Yeah.
UVO Podcast wouldn't be here without Daniel.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Everything happens for a reason.
Exactly.
You know? And what ended up happening was, like Fernando said, around when I was 9 years old, we were in Indonesia and we were at a swimming pool. And we were playing with my cousins, and I remember looking back to my mom and my dad arguing, and my uncles were starting to gather around them. And I said to my cousin, I said, what's going on, you know? And all of a sudden, my mom pulls me out of the pool, and I hear my dad, and he's like, I don't want to, wait, can I swear on this? Okay. He's like, I don't want to fucking be here. He's like, why am I here? And he's really pissed off. He's red in the face and all this stuff. And I remember my mom crying and my uncles like getting in front of my mom saying like, if you're going to yell at someone, you're going to yell at us, you know, like we'll duke it out. Yeah. And we ended up leaving early from Indonesia. I think I was barely about to go into 6th grade. And when we got back, my dad's mental health just started deteriorating, you know. We took him to the hospital after this one thing that happened where he went to go to Golden Corral to eat because he would always do that every day. And it took him 4 hours to come home. Usually he's there for about 45 minutes, 10-minute drive back home. 4 hours, my mom's praying, and she's very religious, you know. And she's praying. She's like, Daniel, what if he's cheating on me and all this stuff? And he comes back and he's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I forgot where I was going, right? And we took him to the doctor, and then the doctor did MRIs, CAT scans, blood work, and all that stuff, and they find out that he has Alzheimer's, and then he also has dementia. And being at that point in my life, I'm 9 years old. I don't know any of this stuff, you know, and I was watching YouTube a lot. YouTube just started getting popular, you know, really started getting popular. So I started YouTubing all this stuff, you know. I started learning about Alzheimer's and dementia, and part of me believed that I gave it to him, that I was the reason that he had it. Because he pulled me out of school one day, and I remember my principal calling me to the office, and she goes, your dad's here, and he seems extremely frustrated. And I go, I'm in trouble. And so he picks me up, and as he's taking me out to the car, he kind of just gives me a big old bear hug, and he goes, I thought I lost you.
Oh, crazy.
Exactly. And he dropped me off in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it just started rapidly deteriorating. And there's like a lot of like stories, like when he almost attacked my mom, and my mom locked herself in her room, and he started having flashbacks because he was in Vietnam. And he just kept telling me, he's like, the Viet Cong are coming. He's like, they're in there. They're in that room, you know? He's like, I need you. And like looking into his eyes now as an adult with that memory, and I look back at that memory, I'm like, that was pure animalistic instinct. He was seeing something that he had experienced, and it was playing back in his brain. So after that, my mom was working a full-time job, taking care of him and me, paying the mortgages, you know, paying the hospital bills, until one point my mom just couldn't do it anymore, and all of her friends here said, you have to put him into a nursing home. I mean, you can't handle taking care of me and all of this. And so I think that was like one of the hardest moments for me and my mom, was leaving him there at the nursing center. Oh, yeah. Because he tried to fight the nurses, you know. He tried to like fist fight him, and we had to leave him. My mom was crying, and I think he was there for about 3 months or 6 months, around there. Then we end up my mom's like, okay, I'm better now. You know, I took my 6-month break. I can take care of my husband, you know? And so we pick up my dad and we go to Longhorn Steakhouse, you know, and we get him whatever he wants. And it's like, it's weird because when you're looking at someone with Alzheimer's, it's not like they're them anymore. You know, there's like a little bit of them there, but the main part is like they're a child. You know, they can't really do things anymore. Mm-hmm. And from then on, it just started getting even worse and worse until it was December of 2011. And I wanted to go to the mall with my friends. I just barely started junior high. And my mom went to the nursing home because we ended up putting him back into a different one, which was closer to us on Redwood. And I called my mom and I said, hey, Mom, I want to go to the mall with my friends. I want to go hang out, maybe look at some clothes. And she's just screaming at me, Daniel, you need to come now. You need to come now. And I'm like, why? What's going on?
Was he in the nursing home at that time? Or
yes, he was in the nursing home. You need to come. I go, what's going on? You know? And she goes, you need to have one of your quote unquote uncles, one of the people that lived in our basement because we rented it out, to take you over to the nursing home. And I said, why? And she goes, your dad's not breathing. Your dad's not breathing. Your dad's not breathing, over and over again on repeat.
Oh, wow.
And at that moment, it felt like time froze. It was like, Tunk. And I remember just hanging up the phone in silence and going downstairs and asking someone to give me a ride. And by the time I pulled into the nursing center, he was getting wheeled out, and they were using one of these respirators, you know, to keep his oxygen going. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we go to the hospital. I think we're waiting there for about like an hour. My dad's ex-wife shows up. She's really part of the family, you know. Yeah. And we're sitting there for about an hour. My siblings show up, and the doctor comes out, and he goes, there's nothing we can do. He passed away, you know. And I just remember, like, 5 days ago on Christmas, what he kept saying to me and my mom. It was weird because he up until that point in time, he was so gone, he couldn't really talk anymore. But on Christmas, he kept saying, he pulled me and my mom close, and he said, I love you guys. I love you guys so much. And me and my mom were shocked, you know. And my mom does this little test, and she points at me, and she goes, who is he? And my dad goes, that's our son. And my mom goes, who am I? And he goes, you're my wife. 2 years prior to that, he couldn't do it.
Oh, wow.
He wouldn't remember. He couldn't even say my name, you know? And he goes,
Daniel. You guys felt like he was making some progress?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now that I look back on it, I think it was like his last goodbye.
Yeah.
You know, like he was saying, I love you guys, and this is where it's going to be, you know? And it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just having the whole funeral just felt numb. I mean, I didn't feel like it was real. Like this was actually happening to me. It was like a weird fever dream. But there was this one weird thing that happened at his viewing. We had the viewing at Redwood Mortuary, just on Redwood Road, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I remember sitting there, and my brother's a drug addict, okay? So he's crazy. He's really weird. But he sits next to me, and he starts saying some random bullshit, you know? And I'm just, like, entertaining him, you know? I'm like, okay, cool. And as he's talking, I kind of, like, glance up and look at my dad's coffin. And clear as day, it looked like he sat up. Even to this day, I think he sat up, bro. But he's dead. So, like, it doesn't make sense. So I don't know if it was my grieving mind trying to make sense of the whole situation, you know? But that was definitely a hard part of my life. Yeah. 8th grade, my mental health started declining. You know, I mean, we didn't have a car. My dad was the one that would drive a car. My mom refused to because she got into a really bad car accident that almost killed them. And so whenever we had to go get groceries, no matter if it was rain, snow, sunshine, I would always do it because I didn't want to take my mom along because she's old. You know, I'm young. I can handle it. Yeah. And so I remember like just going through, walking like 30 minutes to Walmart or Target to grab the groceries in the snow. And then on my way back, you know, there's these kids, they would ride their bikes. And every time I would go through, they would always fuck with me. Yeah. Always, you know? And they would always be like, hey, faggot, you know, like, hey, nerd, like, why are you walking through here? We're BMXing here, you know? And I'm like, way smaller than them because they're high school, you know, and I'm in 8th grade, you know, I'm super nerdy, so I couldn't fight, you know, and so I would just take it. I mean, they would occasionally beat the shit out of me, and I would just pick up my shit and go and come back to my mom, and my mom would say, what happened? I'd be like, oh, I fell, because I didn't want her to know. Yep. And that was, and I dealt with that, and that's okay. And I got my first job at that time as well, and I was a busboy.
Okay.
You know, and so first job was amazing. You know, it was paid under the table.
Yeah.
It was really demanding. My first boss was very mean. But
That's what I did. My first job was a busboy, like the first real job, right?
Oh, yeah?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And
It's a good job.
yeah,
for a 13, 14-year-old kid, it's
exactly.
a good job.
Yeah. I mean, the money was huge to me at that age. So I did that, and I learned a lot through working there, and ended up moving up to becoming a dishwasher, which got paid more. And then I got moved up to being a sous chef, which was really fun because I worked in a Japanese restaurant. So I was able to make like teppanyaki and all that stuff. And at that point in time, tragedy struck again, and we went to Walmart with my mom, me and my friend Spencer, and we wanted to go dick around at the video game section, the toy section, you know, and just mess around while my mom did her shopping, so we didn't bother her. And so we're messing around there, and usually it takes like 10 minutes, and my mom will meet up with us, and then we'll go. 10 minutes turns into 15 minutes, 20, 30, 1 hour, 30 minutes. We're starting to question it.
Yeah.
What's going on? Where is she, you know? And start calling her phone, no answer. So we start just going around Walmart looking for her, and I'm starting to get panicked, you know, until we go all the way into the front where we first came in, and she's standing there dazed. She looks absolutely confused on what's going on. And I go, Mom, what's going on? And she goes, aren't you supposed to be in school? But I came here with you.
Yeah.
You know, I came here with you like an hour and 30 minutes ago. Thoughts started racing through my head at that point. Not again.
Yeah.
I already went through this. I'm going to lose both of my parents in the span of 3 years.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You know? That's when I argued with my mom, and I told her, no, we're going to Intermountain right now. I don't care if the insurance can handle it or not, but I need to make sure that you're okay. Luckily, I did that, because if I didn't do that, we would have never known that she has a tumor on her brainstem.
Oh, wow.
Her spine, if you look through the CAT scan, it's like a 90-degree angle.
Oh, wow.
It grows just a little bit more and she'll die.
Wow. Is it malignant?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's not cancerous or anything? Oh, that's good. That's good.
So they think it was due to stress. Like all her stressing caused the tumor, you know. And I'm glad we caught it, but at the same time, it's like, you know, I kind of wish I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
But at that point in time, I started kicking it into gear. You know, I started making more money through being a sous chef. I started taking my generals at the community college for medical terminology to get my CNA, so then I could become a nurse and then move my way up to become a doctor. Because my mom wanted to be a doctor, but she gave up on her dreams to have a family.
Yeah.
So I was like, the least I can do is continue those dreams, you know. And so I was battling, juggling high school, college, at work, and friends and relationships. And for the first like 6 months, it was fine, you know, but then I started getting information overload. You know, I would fall asleep in high school.
Yeah.
My teachers would yell at me. I'd fall asleep in college. My professor would tell me, get the fuck out, you know, like don't sleep here. So I'm like, all right. So I started sloughing high school. I stopped caring about high school, and I would just go to my college classes, and I would just go to work and then hang out with my friends, and that was pretty much it. I ended up paying the groceries for my mom. I ended up helping pay half of the mortgage for our house. I even like helped find renters for our basement and renovate the basement too to help her. But then I started thinking more about her tumor and how at any point in time, I could wake up in the morning and she could be gone. And I remember that she has no family here at all. You know, the only family she had was my dad and me. And so I decided at that point in time that I wanted to have her be in her home country for the last years of her life with the people she cares about. And so I told her, I was like, okay, let's move back to Indonesia so you can be with your family and your friends. And she was like in awe. She's like, why would you do that? I mean, you were raised here, you know? And I said, well, because I love you and I don't know how much longer you have here. And I'm like, so let's do it and let's have the rest of your life happy. I don't want you working till you're 60, right?
Yeah.
And so we moved to Indonesia and we sold our house. I think we had like $30,000 that we had from our house to keep in our pockets, right? And then I had my dad's pension because he was in the military, so that was like $1,400 a month until I turned 18. And at the beginning, it was nice, super nice. I had a lot of money. And
I bet. Indonesia, huh?
yeah, dude.
This is like what, 7-8 years ago?
Yeah, like 5 years ago.
5 years
actually.
ago. Wow, super recent.
Mm-hmm. and everyone was kissing my ass, and it felt good because I've never had that before.
Yeah.
You know, I when I moved to Indonesia, I created a new persona for myself. Here, I was that nerdy glasses kid, you know. But when I moved to Indonesia, I was like, I was that cool kid, you know. Like, I listen to rap music, you know. I smoke the devil's lettuce, you know, and all that stuff, right?
Devil's lettuce. That's so lame.
Is that what they call it?
Nah, bro, that's what I call it. But yeah, and but once the money ran dry, we ended up getting kicked out of our own house.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom paid for my grandma's house, and we ended up getting kicked out of it. And at that point in time, once we were out of the money, because we put all the money into investing in our family by helping them pay for they wanted to be lawyers, so we paid for their colleges, you know. They needed new clothes, we paid for their clothes. They needed food, we paid for the food, bills, everything. We paid for everything, and once the money ran dry, they kicked us out.
Wow.
We had the equivalent of $7 in our pocket. And I remember riding the public transportation, and it was hot, sweaty, terrible. People were close up to each other, you know. And we got off, and my mom was like, let's go get some cigarettes, you know. I said, okay, let's go. And we went, and cigarettes are dirt cheap in Indonesia. Just like $1, you can get, like $1 US, you can get a pack of cigarettes, you know.
No shit.
Yeah. And so we're like, okay, we want a pack of these cigarettes. And the guy's like, okay, that'll be this much money. And my mom's going through her purse, and she's like, Daniel, I can't find the money. And I was like, you can't find the money? That's the only money we have. What are we going to do without that money?
Yeah.
Right? And we ended up finding it, and it was huge, like, weight off of my shoulder, right? And at that point in time, I started looking, okay, let's start looking for jobs. Mom can't work here because Indonesia, they don't employ old people.
Yeah.
It's just a thing. So I started doing acting. I did a commercial for this thing called Kopi Good Day, which is like a coffee advertisement. And I did this TV show called Manusia Serigala, which is like Indonesia's version of like Twilight or Teen Wolf. And I was a vampire, you know. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
so my nickname here at UVO is Twilight. So, so that was really fun. And then after that, I kind of realized that Indonesian show business wasn't my thing. I kind of like idolized American Hollywood and advertisements because it's way different, you know. And so I stopped that, and I ended up getting a job at this company called Forestry, and it's they turned a indoor soccer field into a restaurant. So it's a massive restaurant, and I walked in there for the interview, and this guy just started speaking fluent English, like absolutely fluent English, and he has a New Zealand accent. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. Like I can vibe with this guy, you know. And he's like, oh, I'm so glad I get to have a white boy work for me. And I was like, what does that mean? What does a white boy working for you mean? And he's like, take a look around at everyone around you. He's like, they're all Indonesian. And I was like, well, I'm Indonesian too. And he's like, but you're white. It's different, you know? And I was like, okay. And he's like, I want you to do the marketing for us, and then I want you to be a waiter. So I was like, he's like, half of the day you'll be a waiter, the other half of the day you'll do the marketing. So I built multiple websites for their different restaurants because they actually own multiple different types of restaurants, right? So I did their marketing, their socials. I collaborated with their other marketing team, you know, and ended up becoming really good friends with them. And that's when I pitched like this dumb idea to him. And I was like, hey, what if I wore my rinky-dinky Spider-Man costume to the restaurant and kind of like promote the restaurant as Spider-Man? And it could be a really good marketing tactic because one, I'm white, and two, it's Spider-Man. And Spider-Man likes healthy stuff. He has to be fit, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, bring your costume. Except the costume was like this really crappy costume. You know, you would get it like a Halloween store. And I was like, no, dude, I'm just kidding. And he's like, okay. He's like, find a costume right now and I'll buy it. He's like, make it custom fitted for you. I don't want nothing but the best. So we ended up finding one. And like a week later, he tells me to come to the restaurant and go to the office. So I go to the office, and he opens up this huge box and he goes, put it on. I suit up the whole suit, and I actually have a clip I can put right here, okay? And I put on the suit, and I remember that immense like confidence boost, dude. Like I felt like I was actually Spider-Man, you know?
Yeah.
I felt like I was actually Spider-Man.
Hey, you still have that costume?
Yeah, I do.
Bring that shit to work.
I will.
Bring that shit to work.
Well, right in time, because we're about to start filming here in like a month roughly.
Oh yeah.
So we're about to start filming for our little
Reality
pilot,
show.
our reality show here, and we're ready.
Yeah,
dude.
Make sure
bring
you
the
have
costume.
make sure you have
Sure.
your outfit, your Spider-Man outfit. It will be golden.
Oh, that'd be so dope, dude.
I'm down. And
So were you that guy in that I don't know. It was an Asian clip that Spider-Man did a backflip land on his head. Is that you?
No, I wish it was. In my misery. No, I'm just kidding.
Have you seen that video? There's a bunch of them.
I think I have. I think I've seen that one. Everyone tags me and stuff like that whenever they come across Spider-Man. They're always like, "Hey, it's you," and I'm like, "Yeah, I get it."
That's funny.
But yeah, and then it just started. And like at first, it was like trying to get out of my comfort zone as Spider-Man, because I've never really done something in public like that before. And so I'll just walk out and kind of like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Spider-Man." But then
Where'd you wear the costume? Not in public, in the bedroom or what?
yeah, I have a Spider-Man fetish. No, but what ended up happening was I told him I came across this Instagram video, and it was a compilation of Tom Holland Spider-Man doing like really cool like stuff from his movies, and then they put this old school Spider-Man song onto it from the cartoons that I used to watch. And I was like, "Bro, I vibe with this heavy. Put this song on next time you want me to be Spider-Man. I'll do something crazy. I guarantee it. The music will pump me up." And they said, "Okay." As I'm suiting up, I hear the music playing, and I'm like, "Oh, it's go time. It's
Showtime.
It's Spider-Man time, you know?" And once the music came up, I sneaked in front of they had this counter in the front of the restaurant. I snuck behind it, and we had this huge Volkswagen van that we served coffee out of. And I climbed up the top of the ladder, and I jumped, and I did the whole Spider-Man pose on top of the car. And everyone's kind of like, "What the hell's going on?" You know, like, this is weird. This is a restaurant we're trying to eat, you know? And then the music, like the horns kicked up, and I stood up, and my friend looks at me, and he's doing a little, like, "Take off your mask, take off your mask." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm ready this time," you know? And so I take off my mask, and instantly waves of phones. Everyone whips out their phones, and they're just taking pictures. They're coming up to me, "Sir, can I take a photo with you? Can I take a video with you?" These little kids are like, "Are you the real Spider-Man?" You know?
Because you're white?
Yeah, that's because I was white, and I had the haircut too.
There you
know,
go.
so people thought I was actually Spider-Man. So that gave me a huge ego boost.
Oh, I can only
Yeah.
imagine.
I mean, I'm like my childhood superhero, bro.
Yep.
And these people believe it. At least the kids do, you know.
Yeah.
So that was really good, and that was making some good money. And what I just like my entire life has been is I always just give that to my mom, you know, because when I worked there, they would just give me free food to eat there, and they would always give me like free cigarettes. At the time, I used to smoke cigarettes, and they would give me free cigarettes, and then all the money that I would take home. Good money there is $300 a month, by the way. That's how much I would take away.
Wait. How old were you at that time?
At that time, I was 17.
They were just handing you cigarettes, like, "Here you go."
Yeah. I mean, there was 9-year-olds smoking cigarettes on the street.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that was their culture there.
Same in my country too. You can be 5, 10, doesn't matter. Here you go.
Exactly. It's weird.
I don't get it.
Neither do I. And it's fun because here we don't really have cigarette ads, right? We have the like, you know, they take their tooth out and then they put the money, and they're like, "Okay, now you can have the cigarettes as an ad."
Yeah.
In Indonesia, they'll be like kayaking in this beautiful mountain, and then they'll be like, "You want a cigarette?" And then the logo of the company pops up, and then that's how they advertise their cigarettes.
Shit.
That's pretty good marketing though. You gotta.
Yeah, it's like, if I smoke this, will I be kayaking in the mountains? You know,
Will I be cool?
Yeah, exactly. That's how they get you. But yeah, and then I became really good friends with the owners, and especially because they spent most of they're Indonesian, but they spent most of their lives in New Zealand. You know, so they're kind of like outsiders like me. And that's when they told me they were opening up a new branch in Jakarta, which is kind of like New York in Indonesia.
Okay.
And they said they wanted me to own it, right? Like sweat equity, like you've been talking about, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." And I was like, "But the money I make, I can't just put that into like rent. My mom needs to pay a mortgage, and she needs to eat." And they're like, we'll pay for your where you're gonna stay and all that, all your food and all that stuff, and you're gonna still make the money that you made before, and you can give that to your mom." So I ended up doing that, and I started hustling, you know, started talking to other investors. A lot of Arabs over there were business people, a lot of Chinese people there too. I started like networking with those guys, you know, because I had no idea I was going to come back here. You know, I thought that there was no way in hell that I was going to make enough money in the short period amount of time that I had my passport to come back. And that's when all of a sudden, like, I wake up to my friend saying, "Hey, you still want to come back here?" I was like, "Absolutely, yeah, why?" And he goes, "I bought you a ticket
To the U.S.
to the U.S."
To drop the restaurant owner dream.
Yep,
Yeah, and come back to the U.S.
yep,
But just you.
just me.
Just you.
Yeah. I couldn't take my mom because her green card expired. And so I knew that if I go first and I lay the foundation again, that in a couple of years when I bring her back, it'll be way better than when we left.
Yeah.
You know,
At 17?
17, yeah.
You imagine that?
Hustler.
Yeah, it was very scary, but I was like, I knew the risk of staying there was a lot higher than it would be coming here.
Yeah.
You know, and I knew that with everything I learned about entrepreneurism from them, like seeing it, I knew that I was not meant to be a follower. I was meant to be a leader, not a boss, but a leader. You know, there's a huge difference between the two, and with everything they taught me, I was like, I'm going to do something similar, whether it's a restaurant or something, and take their tactics and build it out here in the States where the cash flow is a lot higher and the rewards way better.
Yeah.
And when I came back here, I was homeless.
Yes.
I bet.
It's easy to have a dream, but in reality, it's not that easy. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I ended up living with one of the people that used to rent with us, you know, and then we ended up having bad blood in like couple months in, and so I ended up moving, and I bought this car from my friend, and it was with the only money I had to my name. It was like $1,500. It was an Acura RSX. I bought it, and he's like, I was like, what is that knock? And I don't know cars that well, you know, and I was like, what is that knocking whenever I hit 45 miles per hour? And he's like, oh, it's nothing. So I buy it in cash. Like, I'm like, here's all my money. I want the car. He sells me his car. I take it to the mechanic, and the mechanic's like, that's going to be a new engine.
Yeah.
You're going to need a new engine for that. That's a rod knock. I was like, how much is a new engine? He's like, it's the same price you paid for the car. So I was screwed.
You got hustled.
Yeah. I was screwed out of my own car, out of that car, and I had to live in it. So I lived in that for a little bit, ended up moving in with my friend Spencer that brought me back here, you know, and got back together with my high school sweetheart. You know, we were on and off for a long time. The last time we broke up before we got back together was when I moved. Because I said long distance relationships just won't work out.
That'll be tough, man.
Exactly. I'm surprised my mom and dad did it, you know? And we got back together, and a little bit after that, she got pregnant.
Yeah. So you're 20 years old at that time?
When she got pregnant, I was 19, and she was 18.
Nice.
Imagine being 19 in another country, not having any family or any friends or anybody that you know, and on top of that, you have a baby on the way.
Yeah.
Like, I have a baby on the way right now. I'm like, oh my God, I got to go do this. I got to go do that. I can only imagine being 18, 19. Like, shit, dude.
Yeah, it was hard. And I'm not going to lie to you. Like, when a little bit, like, it was like December-ish time. I was still drinking, partying with my friends while she was pregnant, you know? And that's when I got like a reality check, you know? And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? You know, I'm about to have a kid, and I'm acting this way because my mom's not here to kind of like watch over me.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's not who I am, you know? Of course I like drinking, but I'm also going to love this child unconditionally, and I have to pick one. I start getting my dream back to becoming an entrepreneur and making that money and putting it away and building a future for myself, or I can continue to be partying and continue to be a bum, hanging out with bummy people that are not going to go anywhere in 5 years, you know? And that's where it switched. And I started just picking up any job I could here, UPS, Panda Express, you know, 1-800 contacts, just to make money to put away, you know. And then once I started working at 1-800 contacts, and I think it was like 2 months into it, I was like, yeah, I can't work a call center, bro. I can't. These people are mean. They're mean people, you know. And my friend Mate hits me up, and he goes, why don't you try doing DoorDash? And I was like, how much does DoorDash make an hour? And he's like, it's not hourly. It's per order. And I was like, how much do you make on average? He goes, $175 dollars a day. $175 a day to me was huge.
Yeah.
You know, just to drive around, pick someone's food up and drop it off. That's easy.
Oh, yeah.
You can be an idiot and do that, you know? So I ended up doing it, but I pushed myself. I worked every single day of the month, weekends included. Sometimes I'd work till 3 a.m. just to make $300. And I started pulling up the miles on my car, you know, and then I met with one of my friend's aunts, and she's a real estate agent. And she was talking to me, and it was really weird because when I was there, my friend was smoking weed, and he's like, "Here, you want to hit?" And I was like, "No, I don't want to hit. You're with adults, dude. This is weird, you know. Like these guys are in their 40s, you know. Like they're not gonna get mad at us." He's like, "No, come on, just have it." So I ended up getting high with them. And she's talking to me, and she's like, I saw your videos on YouTube that you used to make. And I was like, oh yeah. And she's like, these are really good. Have you ever thought about like recording houses? And I was like, no, I never thought about it. And she's like, well, you should. And I was like, well, I don't have any gear. And she's like, that's okay. And like a couple days later, she ends up calling me. And she's like, I bought you a laptop and I bought you a camera. You're going to start working for us now. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah. And so I ended up like starting doing videos, you know, and at the beginning it was rocky, bro.
Daniel filmed one video and then I got him. Laptop and all. How many videos did you do really though? Because you didn't do it for very long, right, before we found you?
No, I didn't do a lot, specifically because the person that she was with, he couldn't pay me. So she was paying me out of her commission because she felt bad that I was doing DoorDash and I had no time to spend with my family. So she would pay me like $2,000, and then whatever I needed, I would just dash for, you know. And so I think like in total, I probably did like 20 videos for them, and they weren't like the highest quality videos. I mean, I look back on them and I'm like, yikes, I can't believe I made that, you know. But I think the biggest thing that changed me was when I was doing the videos for Kelly, and I personally looked at the quality and I was like, what is this? I was like, what is this quality? You know, like looking at the color and the lighting and.
Honestly, I thought the exact same thing.
Yeah.
When I watched that first video from Kelly, because I think he mentioned, you know, to put the UVO logo on there, and I'm like, no. Kelly, get this guy out of here.
Yeah, and then he told me about you guys and how you're like, I can't remember the words he's saying, but I'm gonna put it in like a mean way. You know, it's like you need to get better at it, you know, in order for this to be like uploaded. And I didn't take that as like oh fuck me, like I'm terrible. I took it as I need to get better to get these guys to work with me. And that night I ended up like I borrowed the camera from you.
Yeah.
And I looked up on like tutorials on this video on the Sony, and I just like how to adjust the light balance, how to adjust the shutter speed, you know. And then I reached out to the agent I used to work with, Megan, and I was like, do you have any listings I could practice in? And she's like, yeah, I have a listing. I practice in it. Then I came back and I was so proud to show you. I remember I was like, Fernando, I made this. I was like, this is beautiful. This is way, way like better than compared to what I did before, you know? And the greatest, very vivid, I was at Cut Bop getting food for myself. Just barely finished door dashing. It was probably like 7 o'clock at night. And I get a phone call from Fernando. And I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, you still delivering pizza? And I'm like, no. I was like, well, occasionally I'll deliver pizza. I was like, why, what's up? And he's like, I want you to come to the office at 9 a.m. and talk with us. And I was like, absolutely. I hang up the phone. I'm like, oh yeah, like I did it, you know? And that next Monday I come in and Fernando's like, oh man, I forgot about this.
I was like, wait, what are you doing here, bro?
So, I mean, I was hungry. I mean, obviously I came on Monday, you know, and it was great. And I can't imagine myself being anywhere else. I mean, I love this place. I line myself with your ideals, and where you guys want to be is where I want to be, you know? It's a blessing.
Yeah. No, dude, your story is fucking crazy, man. Like, I can't even imagine going through all that bullshit. Luckily I still have my parents. You know, my dad's in Mexico right now, but, you know, I still have both my parents. They're both healthy and, I mean, happy and good lives, you know, and I just can't imagine, like, you know, you being so young and, you know, losing your dad and having your mom deal with these issues. And it's tough, man. Yeah, it's tough. But I know that, and I talked about this in the podcast before, is like, it makes you stronger. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'd like to think you're extremely mature for your age, you know, even though you put stupid shit in some videos sometimes.
Yeah.
But he's really good at his job, you know, and I'm actually happy that you learned, you know, a lot of the stuff from the previous employer that you had, and also the people in Indonesia who gave you the opportunity to do marketing, because I felt like you don't have a degree, you don't have any formal training, right? But you taught yourself how to do it because you wanted and you needed to in order to make some money. And those are the kind of people we want to work with, right? Because we've talked to, dude, when we were hiring videographers, we were interviewing left and right. Like, Alan, remember a ton of videographers coming in here, and they would talk to me about how they charge, and I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, I know what you do. You get a camera, you press record, you edit the video. I can help direct. You know, it's not a big deal. But everyone was, like, valuing their education at such a high level. One guy was even like, oh, man, I charge, what do you say? I think it was like $100 a minute. And I'm like, bro, I'm not filming like a movie. Like, we're shooting like 3-minute videos, 30 minute when we do the long ones, 30-minute house tours, you know, for my channel. And I'm like, I'm not going to pay you fucking that much money. Like, get the fuck out of here. 30 grand, like a fucking video. Like, get the hell out of here. Or what is that, 3,000 for a house tour video, like get the fuck
That's
out of here,
ridiculous.
you know?
Yeah.
So after that, I'm like, okay, we can't hire somebody who has a company. We can't hire somebody who's thinks that their work is the best. We got to find somebody who understands, right, and who needs a little work, and we can coach them, mentor them, and kind of shape them, right, and provide all the equipment. That's one thing that we're offering that, you know, these other guys didn't see, is that they didn't have to use their equipment. We have ours, right? But no, you came in super educated. Like, you know, I would never guess that you didn't know what the hell you were doing when you started, because you knew all about the equipment, you know, the stuff that we needed. You helped us build up our inventory and stuff. And when you were like, dude, I can do websites, you know, I can do graphic design. I'm just like, holy fuck. Like, I've worked with guys in the past who have degrees, right? Mm-hmm. And they're not even as good as you are. And they're trained, college degrees in graphic design and Adobe and Premiere Pro and stuff like that. And I'm like, what the fuck are these guys learning in school? Like, they're not at the level Daniel's in, you know, but that just goes to show you
how hungry he was.
Yeah.
It just goes to show.
Self-taught. You can go a lot further than, you know, just listening to your tutor at school or your teacher at school, you know?
People get so caught up in their degrees, like, hey, look at me, I have my degree. Well, fuck your degree, you know?
Yeah.
Experience over that any day.
Yeah, yeah. But no, dude, we're pumped to have you. And you know, the title for this episode obviously is Growing Pains. And I'm happy you shared your story, because goddamn, that's a fucking ton of growing pains, right? You're growing up and you're dealing with all that bullshit. But, you know, when we're talking about business, like, Daniel's here with us along for the ride. He's seeing what we're going through, you know, every day. He's here more than most people. He's been leaving early, which is like, you fucker, stop leaving so early.
My bad.
But you know, I'm referring to your work ethic, because when you hear you're working and you're executing, right? But you know, we're talking about growing pains. Like, we're going through a lot right now.
Yeah.
You know, we're transitioning into the next level, next stage in our business. With it's either a brokerage, right, which I'm 99% sure it's going to happen. But there's like a transition phase we have to get to before there. And we're dealing with that now and having some growing pains with the company that we're with, which is whatever, you know, but that's typical in business, you know, and I feel like in order to get through that, you have to have a mindset like Daniel, you know, go through a lot of bullshit, keep going, right? Go through a lot of pains and challenges, wherever it's in your personal life or your business. You just have to find the will and the strength to keep going, right?
You just got to keep pushing.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have to eat shit for a long time, like Alan always says.
Yeah.
You eat shit. But what sets you different from the rest of the fish in the sea is you're not going to stop. And you're going to keep going until you get what you want. So, and that's what UVO is all about. And that's why I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. There's a lot of plans that we have coming up. I feel like
We have a lot coming up.
I feel like some of our stuff's been not really pushed back, but is just getting harder to get to that next step, you know. But we can't let it like stifle.
Stagnate.
So we just can't let it fuck up our progress, right? And so that's why, again, the whole brokerage thing is a bit of a challenge. We're trying to find the right broker, not just anybody, who aligns with our brand, right? Who understands where we're at in our business. But that's a challenge, you know, and we're interviewing right now, which is awesome. Alan put a story out today, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Immediately started getting people hitting him up. Like,
Yeah, I got people tomorrow lined up that want to meet.
it's so funny what this guy was a couple of years ago on social media. Like,
I wasn't on social media.
but no, it's so cool. And like Mike Burns said in one of the podcasts, he's like, it's so dope how social media right now today is like, you can reach such a large audience, you know, so quickly. And you were never able to do that in the past. You know, you had to pay money for that, right? And now it's like you just do a post and you get a response
Instantly.
like instantly.
Yeah.
This is the greatest tool for marketing, honestly.
Oh,
dude.
I love it, man.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. But I'm happy you're utilizing that in this way, because we really need to start pushing
It's
that
time.
out there.
It's time. Yeah, we have a team currently. UVO is currently a team within a brokerage, and the time has come where it's time to open up our own brokerage, UVO Group, the brokerage.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you are a good fit, if you're a broker, and you want to be along for the ride, we have a lot in the works right now, and we're not going to stop. Reach out.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's good. But, you know, when we talk about growing pains in a business, like, obviously everybody experiences that shit, especially when they're trying to move their business forward, right? and hit goals that not a lot of people do. And with us, it's like the first year, you know, we're already there. And that was a goal that you and I set. And we're a month behind right now, which is unacceptable. Yep. Right? Yeah. That's why I feel like it's like painful, because we're like, fuck, man, we're always hitting them. And it's like, okay, we're a month behind. something needs to happen, you know. And so I'm happy you're putting out there, you know, to the universe and to social media and everything that we're looking. But that's something that we have to do, you know, immediately. But going back to your parents, like, dude, like, especially your mom. I mean, right now she's in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, and so you're helping her still.
Yeah. I actually have a appointment on the 22nd with Preda.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
I recommended an immigration attorney my mom used in the past.
Okay.
Like 15 years ago. So I'm happy they're still in business because this lady is a fucking boss, bro. Right? So she's going to help you with all the paperwork and everything to help get her over. Nice.
So what do you need to do to get your mom here?
we need to.
What is it going to take?
It's a lot of filing papers. They're going to do a background check on me. They're going to look at how much I make with tax returns and all that stuff. And I think it's going to be like a total of like $5,000, maybe $6,000 to, and that's just the lawyer fees and the filing, not including like the tickets and all that stuff. But honestly, like this has been a long time coming. I really want to see my mom.
Yeah.
So,
and we're going to make sure that happens.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure to get your mom here.
I'm trying to get Alan to come with us to Indonesia.
Oh,
you got to come, man.
I'm down.
It's going to be
Says
so
he
fun.
would cut your balls off, bro. What are you talking about?
Just do it maybe like a month after the baby comes, then we'll go.
Okay.
You guys want us to go the week after my baby's due?
I'm
Really?
down, dude. I mean, I really want you guys to come, one, because it's a really beautiful country. It really is. We'll avoid all the other stuff.
No,
But,
I want to go to
No, we won't. No, we
What are you talking
won't.
about? Avoid the other stuff.
no, I'm just kidding. But
We're on vacation.
yeah, so I'll show you everything about Indonesia, you know, the pros and the cons, and then I want to invite you and network you guys with my friends over there. I don't know if it could turn out to be anything, but it's just good to just have those connections, you know.
yeah.
So
Talk to me about your acting career, because you told me a story that was pretty funny. You're like, yeah, I stopped doing it because my agent like came on to me or something.
oh
I didn't know
yeah,
about that.
He tried to
Yeah.
trick you into a bedroom by yourself. or something.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Daniel.
So yeah, his name was I think it is Tofik 7 Management, and in Indonesia, a lot of those managers are gay, which I have no problem with gay people or any of that stuff at all. But at the time, he's like, do you want to go on a trip to Bali? And I was like, fuck yeah, I want to go on a trip to Bali. And he's like, I'll pay for the hotel, I'll pay for the food. And I was like, free trip by myself? Hell yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah, exactly. And then he goes, and I can get you a role in this movie. And I was like, oh, dude, now you're talking.
Keeps
you
getting
know?
better and
Exactly.
better.
It keeps getting better and better. And then he goes, under one condition. And I'm like, what's the condition? He goes, you and me together in Bali, you know. And he wouldn't say it. He wouldn't say it, but he was like, you know, just you and me. And I remember just going, you and me, you and me.
So naive.
You're like,
You and me only? Wow, really?
Yeah, exactly. And then it started running through my head, and I was like, "Oh, you're gay." And I was like, "But that's not a problem with me, but I'm not gay, and I'm gonna have to take a hard pass on that."
You could have taken that flight.
I don't know.
Like, hey, we're not going to be doing anything.
I look back on it, and I'm like, "Damn, I should have just taken it." You
You
know?
got that role, bro.
All day.
Harvey Weinstein in Indonesia.
exactly, dude. It's crazy. The Indonesia undercover, you know.
Yeah, oh my God, bro. That's too funny, man. That's fucking crazy. Bali must be beautiful, though. You've been there, right?
Yeah, Bali's extremely beautiful, but it's overrated. There's other islands like Raja Ampat, Komodo Island that are extremely, extremely beautiful. I mean, Bali, it fails to compare to those. You know, the water over in those areas are so blue and clear. And when you go to Bali, you have a whole bunch of tourists. And then the people that live in Bali, they're making everything super expensive, and you can't really haggle down with them on that. So
Yeah. Let's do this. I want to get into your mind a little bit because you are a lot younger than us, right? You're like a decade younger than both of us. And so you grew up at I feel like when the internet came out and computers were accessible for everybody in schools, and I remember being like in the 4th and 5th grade and going to computer lab was like insane, like holy shit, computers, you know. And I'm not that old, but fuck, that's how it felt, right? And you know, I grew up, I feel like while technology was getting to the point where it is now, which is probably the last 10 years, I was already out of school, out of my training phase, right? Out of that whole thing. I know. Hold on, we'll get to it. I can see your face. Hold on. But
What'd I do?
Hold on. I can read your mind. But look, but you were born in that era when all the technology lately, the marketing, the social media, right? Just everything online is like being jammed down your throat as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Right. And like it's in your face. Like you're talking about being 9 years old and YouTube was like blowing up. Right. And so you grew up in that era where kids are so used to that type of marketing and advertising, they don't even notice what they're doing. Right. So for you, the question I have for you is, being how old you are now, how do you see, like, especially with our business, right? How do you see marketing today with no money, right? Because you are somebody who learned on your own. And if you had your own business by yourself, you could be doing all these things without having to pay anybody to do it. How do you see marketing today? How can it be used for entrepreneurs, young people who don't know anything about marketing, but they have the same access as everybody else when it comes to social media without paying for anything? Like, have you, because you've taken no classes, I'm assuming, and you know a shitload about marketing online and how to build websites and stuff like that, like, what are the steps that people need to take who are just starting a business, right? Who were in your shoes, they knew nothing. Like, what is the first step?
First step is to go out there and actually learn. I mean, if you're old school and you want to read a book, I mean, you can read a book, but honestly, you have the entire internet in the palm of your hands on your phone. So there's no excuse to say, I don't know how to do it, you know? Whenever I'm confused at something minuscule, when I'm doing like a social media post or something like that, I'll immediately YouTube it, and I'll watch that YouTube video 100 times until I can do it as best as I can, like all the way completed, you know? I will not stop watching that tutorial until I can do exactly like how he did it and create variations of it, you know? When it comes down to social media marketing, it's, I've always been like an analytical person growing up. And when I look at companies, especially when I'm scrolling on Facebook and I get like a targeted ad, I'm like, I know why you're targeting me. I know because I looked up on Google, on Safari, headbands, for Nike headbands, and then I sent a picture to my fiance about it, and now you're targeting me for Nike headbands. You know, it's pretty simple when it comes down to targeting those ads. But when it comes to making logos or videos or any of that stuff, your best friend is YouTube. I mean, like in the last podcast episode, how he talks about how he just watched YouTube video tutorials because he didn't even know how to do it, and he was able to do it. There really is no excuse. I mean, just if you want to watch videos, I mean, there's podcasts out there. I mean, there's YouTube channels I would recommend watching, like Full-Time Filmmaker. They're very amazing people, and they do a lot of it for free. I mean, you don't have to buy a course. I mean, I love free 99. That's my favorite price.
You can learn everything on YouTube, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's what I noticed. That people don't want to put that work in. They always go, "Oh, I don't know," and they give up.
Yeah.
Like, dude, take a few hours or a few days and actually learn it. Because you can learn it. You can learn it all.
Yeah. Yeah. You surprised me when we were talking about the website stuff, and you're like, "Oh, I can build a website like quickly," and I'm like, "Yeah, right. I've paid people in the past, and it takes them. We have one company. It's over a year.
Yeah.
Over a year." The process is so long,
Yeah.
right? It's so dragged out, right? Every little step. And with you, it's like, bam,
Yep.
3 hours. And so that kind of stuff is extremely valuable for a lot of people. And I've talked to you about this in the past, like, hey, when we get to a certain point, we got to hire some people. We can start paying them, running ads, getting leads, upselling them, and outsourcing the work. And a lot of companies are doing that now with like Fiverr. Fiverr's huge. And you can get your logo made, you can get videos done, you can get editing done, anything you want on there for like pennies on the dollar. And so I'm sure a lot of those guys are probably in Indonesia.
Oh yeah, Indonesia, India, China, I mean, a lot of my friends in Indonesia are graphic designers, and they do Fiverr 99 designs, and they make these super amazing logos, but they're still poor because they're not hungry enough to go out and get clients.
Yeah.
They're willing to settle.
Yeah, because it's really cheap on there, right? The work is extremely cheap, so they're not making a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like $100 for a logo design, and $100 to them is like, whoa, that's $100, So they're willing to just, I'll take $400 and then just chill for the rest of the month,
Yeah.
My one friend, Dia, he created a marketing company in Indonesia and had a whole team. One guy was dedicated to making the logos. One guy was dedicated for the videos. Another guy was dedicated to edit the videos, and it worked. It was like streamlined. It was beautiful. And he made a lot of money through that. And this is my passion. I love this, so why not do something you love and make money out of it?
Yeah.
Dude, that's the one thing about it. When you find like what you love to do, it doesn't even feel like work.
No.
Like I feel like every day we come here,
Oh.
we love what we do so much that it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think for people, and I'm talking to everybody out there, is like, if you don't know what the hell you're doing and you don't have the time to invest into that, find somebody like a Daniel, right? That knows a little bit of everything, and then just put them to work, because if they're anything like you, they'll figure it out.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? They'll figure it out, which is awesome. And yeah, man, like the story with your mom and everything, like we definitely gonna do everything we can to help her, you know, get her over here. And I want to go to Bali, obviously.
Yeah, me too.
I want to go to Indonesia.
Nice place.
I'll probably take my wife too. You can take your wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably take my wife too. So
I'll take my girlfriend too.
yeah, well, I don't know if that can happen.
I don't know about that. We'll find out.
What's the corona situation like right now in Bali? Are you able to go over there without the vaccine, or do you have to get the vaccine?
Yeah, you're able to go there without the vaccine. They actually had a whole bunch of riots because of the vaccine, because of COVID mandates and all that stuff. And they were just like, look, like none of us are dying like you say we're dying. You know, like the statistics aren't matching up. And then it became this huge thing. And then, you know, like police brutality in America happened. It kind of waved and rippled to every other country. And in Indonesia, the cops are very, what is it called? Crooked cops, you know.
What is it called?
You know, they're not good people. So you mix that with the coronavirus and all the riots. The president was kind of like, okay. He's like, calm down. You guys can fly here now. So you'll be fine.
Yeah. Shit.
There's always a few crooked cops out there, I feel like.
I think more than a few.
I know, right?
Really, man.
No disrespect.
Really.
There's a few that I definitely like and get along with, but for the most part, yeah, not a very good experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never had a good experience, honestly, with a cop.
It's because you're brown.
It is why. Yeah, and I got tattoos, and yeah.
Get them.
Yeah, I've never had a warning in my life.
Really?
Ever.
Wow. I've had like 6.
I had a guy give me a ticket for a license plate light being out, and he pulled me over. I was in an old construction truck when I was younger, and I was in a really nice place in Sandy, and it was like 1 a.m, pulled me over for that, gave me a ticket, I got out, the light worked.
What?
It was a lie. I was like, motherfucker. Yeah. And he took my license and he didn't get back.
Oh, what?
And I didn't realize that. I think he didn't do it on purpose. I think he left it in his car. I didn't realize that in the heat of the moment. And after that, I'm like, this motherfucker never gave me my license back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to go into whole police bullshit right now, but I'm just saying, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like we all had our like fair share here. You know, it doesn't matter what country you're from. Like, you know, I think I was like 17, 18 getting pulled over, and I gave the cop my ID, and he's like, "Oh, you're from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Oh, we're gonna have a fun time here." I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean?" You know, you have 4 cops, 2 right here, 2 over here. Get out of the car. They're like tapping on the car, and I'm like, what, 17, 18 maybe? I was driving to actually pick. It was like me and Tibor actually. And they kept giving him so much shit. You know, first of all, your name is Tibor. Automatically, you know, you're gonna think, what the hell? Where's this guy from? You know, and they were just trying to accuse him, like, oh, you've been drinking. I'm like, dude, we haven't been drinking. Like, we're actually just heading to go pick up my girlfriend, actually, because we were about to go head to a birthday party. But it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. But over there in Indonesia, I'm sure you can just give them like $1 or 50 cents and they'll leave you alone.
Same thing in Bosnia too, dude.
Just give them money and they fuck off. You know?
Give them some cigarettes and they're out.
Exactly, dude.
Oh my God. I seen a video of this kid in Indonesia, a little fat kid. I'm pretty sure it's Indonesia. Maybe one of them. And he's like a chain smoker. He's like 8 years old.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's normal over there? Like, they don't ID you or anything? It's like,
no.
That is insane. Let's go.
Let's go, bro. It's a party, dude.
Let's go to Indonesia. We got to get the broker set up first. What the hell is that smile about?
Don't even worry about it.
Okay, don't say any names.
Don't even worry about it.
Oh, okay.
We're good.
It is what it is, though?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll talk after. Awesome, bro. Dude,
I was just looking at my little Doge.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. That's good, too.
Dogecoin.
That's
I'm
good
like, oh,
news, too.
shit. We've only been here half an hour, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's good news, too, man. Shit.
You gotta have fun with it. Life's too short, man.
It is too short. Dude, the reality show coming up. I know that you've been studying the types of, I don't know, cameras or lenses for sure.
Yeah.
Different types of filming when it comes to position and angles and stuff like that. And how do you feel? You feel like you're ready?
Yeah, I feel like I'm ready. I feel like we definitely need another cameraman, though.
Yeah.
But
we have one. Mate.
Yeah,
we'll
there we go.
You think he's ready?
No.
Okay, get him ready.
But he will be.
Yeah, but he will be.
Get him ready. Get him ready.
With me as the teacher, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can't fail.
Yeah,
exactly.
Get him ready. But dude,
We're ready.
Thank you for coming on. Right, we're happy to have you here. We tried to shoot one a while ago. Weren't able to. I think we had bullshit problems with this thing. Look at the mic. The mic broke right now. I put tape on it. This is like supposed to be like the top end shit, and
Yeah,
it just
blue.
we use it too much, right?
Time to get a new one.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is we're moving offices in what, 2 weeks here,
Yeah.
3.
Yeah,
So I think we should get a whole new setup.
yeah. Let's get some nice new equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a 4th camera.
Yep.
Got to get a rotating camera to
Oh,
go around.
yeah.
We have to get that in the office for sure.
Had that dynamic feel, you know.
Yep, for sure. So that's going to be good. But big takeaway from this podcast, number 1, I think the biggest one is no matter what the fuck you're going through in life, right? There's always a way if you're persistent and you don't give up, you know, and sit there and be depressed, right? I know you shared with us before that you had some issues with depression.
Yep.
You know, when you were younger, and it looks like you're doing pretty good now. I hope you are. If not, you're doing a damn good job of hiding it.
If not, you look great. You're happy.
Yeah.
Every time I talk to you, you have
Yeah.
a big smile on your face.
Yeah. So, dude, thanks again for being here. Fucking badass story.
Thank you.
Thank
Can't
you.
wait for the reality show. We start filming here in about 3 weeks.
Woo!
I know it's going to be cool.
Dude, I can't wait.
Filming the whole
Same.
move, right? The whole process. I think that's going to be good for people to see that, especially those who are in real estate right now who are looking to start their own brokerage or get to the next level. They can see kind of how we're doing it and the struggles we go through because we're completely honest, full transparency all the time. Even right now with the broker, trying to find a good one, you know, but I know we'll get there in the next few weeks.
We will.
But dude, thanks for coming on today. Awesome
you.
to have you. Thanks for being part of the team.
Thank you.
Alan, thanks for being here.
Of course.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war.